Let me speak to both the young people and respectfully the older generation, okay? Because I think we need to have an honest conversation about respect, culture, and the way we address one another in Nigeria. And there's a conversation happening right now, about a young person calling an older person by their first name. And understandably, many people are upset about it. And we have lots of conversations and perspectives jumping up and about. But before we rush to blame the Gen Z, as we all call the person in question, let us pause and ask ourselves a very important question. Are we as adults and as institutions in this country also contributing to this confusion? Because we cannot train a young person in the workplace to call everybody by their first name as a matter of organizational policy and create an environment where hierarchy is deliberately removed from everyday communication. And then suddenly, we expect that same young person outside that office environment to automatically understand that the same person must now be addressed as sir, ma, chief, doctor, professor, pastor, uncle, or auntie. You see the double standard here? If your organization says, don't call me sir, call me Tony, don't call me ma, call me, say Janet or Janet. We are all colleagues here. That young person is learning something. They are learning that first name communication is acceptable. And some organizations don't just permit it, it is actually part of their communication culture and workplace protocol. So when that young person meets the same person at a public event, a restaurant, an airport, or somewhere else, and calls them by the same name they've been instructed to use professionally earlier, we cannot suddenly behave as though they've committed a cultural crime. So the thing here is we need consistency. And to our elderly people and leaders, please let us also recognize that the younger generation is navigating multiple cultures simultaneously, and they're exposed to global communication, styles, social media, corporate cultures, and different ideas about hierarchy. So if you genuinely want to be called by your first name as an elderly person, that's perfectly fine. But let's be clear and consistent about it. Don't tell them, call me Tony today in the office, and then you expect them to instinctively know that Tony becomes sir publicly the moment they step outside the office environment. That is where I think this confusion is coming from. And young people, Mabinu, let me now speak to you. Do not use this confusion as an excuse to abandon respect. You set yourself up. You're young. You're still building your name, your reputation, your relationships, and your opportunities. And there are certain things you should not have to be taught. One of them is respect for those who are older than you. And I have a rule of thumb. It's very simple, and I think you should apply it. When in doubt, just choose respect. If you discern that someone is older than you and you're unsure of what they prefer, add the appropriate title. Say sir, ma, chief, doctor, professor, uncle, auntie. Let the person receiving the honor be the one to tell you, oh, please just call me by my name. Does it make sense? That way you've done your part. Because the person receiving the honor is ultimately the one who determines whether they feel honored or dishonored, respected or disrespected. The giver should not be the one deciding that someone else should not be offended. You that is giving the respect, or you that is actually transmitting information, cannot be the one to decide whether the receiver is offended or not. And that's why it's important to know that you don't lose anything by showing respect. In fact, there's wisdom in giving honor before it is demanded. And please understand this, respect is not weakness. Calling someone sir or ma does not make you inferior. It does not reduce your intelligence. It does not mean you cannot disagree with them. Because sometimes, in our office spaces and our cultural settings, we feel, young people feel like when I call them by name, I'm leveling up with them to have conversations. And then there are no complexes. No, sir. No. You're young. You're young. And when you respect people, it simply means you understand courtesy and you know how to conduct yourself. People call it basic home training. You can disagree with an older person and say, sir, I respectfully disagree. That is maturity. And as Africans, respect is part and parcel of our cultural identity. We should be very careful that in our attempt to modernize, globalize, and create more egalitarian environments, we do not completely erode something valuable from our culture. And this is where I want to challenge us as a society, okay? We cannot keep blaming Gen Zs for losing respect while we're simultaneously creating workplaces, institutions, family cycles, and social environments where the very behaviors we are currently complaining about is encouraged. Sometimes, even written into policy. Let's stop confusing the next generation. Your kids are calling you daddy, and you're like, no, you can call me Caleb. Your daughter is trying to call you mommy, and like, no, it's okay, no, don't worry. You can just call me Gloria. Bro, are you normal? Are you okay in your mind? Are you normal? And young person, until boundaries are clear, please choose the safer path. Give honor. Don't say, but everybody calls him by his first name. Don't say he told me to call him that at work. Don't say that's how we do it in our generation. When you are outside that specific context and you're unsure, show respect first. Because you never know who's watching. You never know who may want to recommend you. You may never know who is about to open a door for you. You may never know when your simple act of courtesy will distinguish you from everyone else. Please don't use your own hands to switch off your lights. Your brilliance will open doors for you, but your character will determine if those doors will remain open. Respect costs you absolutely nothing. Give it freely. Give it freely. I beg you, give it freely. And as I wrap up, elderly people, please, we cannot have double standards and then blame young people for following what we taught them. Let's create cultures that are modern without being culturally confused, progressive without being disrespectful, global without being disconnected from who we are. Africa is a different terrain. Nigeria is a different context. We can embrace the best of the world without throwing away the best of ourselves. And so to every young person listening to me today, learn the culture of respect, practice it, make it part of who you are. And when you're unsure about how to address anyone older than you, please don't gamble. Don't just gamble. Just say, sir. Just say, ma. It won't kill you, right? It might just save you from a lot of unnecessary drama and perhaps open doors that you never even knew was waiting for you. Respect is not outdated. Respect is wisdom. Respect is culture. Respect is character. Let's preserve it. And let's teach the next generation by practicing it consistently. I hope this helps.